What is it? It's a cordless creeper. Oh yeah. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I just want to say to begin with, I'm going to change the way I'm doing videos, I think. And so let me know in the comments below if this works better for you. What I'm going to do is show you the final product, then I'm going to show you it in use, and then if you want to watch the build, I'm going to do that stuff later. Traditionally, how I've made videos, and a lot of people I think make videos, is they make the build and then they make the final product at the end. So you have to kind of watch the whole video to see the end or fast forward through it. I'm going to change that up. I'm going to change this so you're going to see the final product here in this video. We're going to do a test on it. You're going to see it in action. And then if you want to watch the build and see the considerations of building it and what my thinking was, then you can watch the rest of the video. Okay, so please let me know in the comments below if this is better format for you. So what I've made here is a DIY cordless creeper. Okay, cordless probably isn't the right word, but it is cordless because it runs on a battery. So I found this battery mount on Amazon. It was like 14 bucks, I want to say, and you can plug a DeWalt 20-volt battery into it. Okay, it came with a fuse, it came with a little switch, and there's the switch right there. And so what this does is allows me to plug in a battery here, turn the switch on, and power these LEDs. These LEDs are from Harbor Freight. They weren't expensive. I think they're $25 or $26 for the pair, and you can get it. You can use a coupon, I think, or get them on sale. So you could get them a little cheaper even. Ran some wiring around through here and down here, and later in the video I'll show you how I did all that. But let's see it in action. Oh, that is bright. And of course, the real test is going to be taking it out of the car. Let's take it out of the car and go see. Okay, so let's take this light under here just for comparison. And this is kind of the typical light I usually use. This actually has an LED bulb in it that I put in. This is an old light that used to have an incandescent bulb. But we'll compare these two here. And let's just slide under here and look at the, I don't know, let's just look at this double cardan here. Okay, now normally I'd set this right here and then roll this up and point it at where I wanted to work and then work on that area right there. Now we're going to turn this off and turn the cordless creeper on. Wow. That makes a huge difference. Got all that grease up there. Somebody's been greasing the U-joints. Wow. That's a sign, right? If your frame's all clean underneath, if you're buying a vehicle and the frame's all clean underneath around greasable joints, then that means they probably never got greased. Wow, this is so cool. Okay. Okay. Okay, so there's actually enough ambient light here, even though the lights are shining straight up, that I can still see my knob in there because there's so much light shining around. I can see that it's intact and didn't break off on the last four-wheeling trip, so that's good. So this is interesting here, where this hose here is casting a shadow on the frame up here. Now, the right light from coming over here from the right, coming over here is obviously cast in this shadow. The left light's cast in this shadow. But they're not as severe as if the lights just come from one source. So I'm going to cover up the left light here. Okay guys, I'm going to do a project here that I've never done before, and I'm going to make a lighted creeper. Okay, slide under the car with a headlamp on, or a light, flashlight, typical thing like this. you know, LED light or like this with a battery, they're never shining in the right spot. I'm always adjusting, I'm always knocking them over. Usually I'm working directly above me when I'm on a creeper, right up above me. And I know this because all the crap's always falling in my face and in my eyes. But so I'd like one of these on each side of my head. So, and then I'd like to power it with a battery source of batteries I already use. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can pull this off. Stick with me, we'll see if we can make this work. All right, so I picked up these lights at Harbor Freight just because I was in Harbor Freight. 320 lumens is probably more light than I really wanted to use because of the battery consumption, of the power consumption. So that's per light. So we're talking 640 lumens. You know, it's not a ton, but it's still pretty bright. So the specifications on this light are specifically, it pulls 4.4 watts. And so this is lumens per light 320. I'm assuming it's 4.4 watts per light also. It doesn't say that, but the DC volts is 12 or 24 volts. So that's cool. This is a 20 volt battery, so it should be right in the middle and it should work fine. We're gonna find out. My original plan was to put lights on the creeper, run the wires through the creeper down kind of to the bottom of the creeper, build a little box, buy a little 12 volt battery, you know, from Ace Hardware or whatever, and wire it to that, put a fuse in, put a switch on the outside. That way I could, you know, hit it. And then I just get a little trickle charger, I guess, and plug it into the wall and keep it charged. And then it would stay charged. And then I got to thinking, well, why do that when I have several of these batteries laying around and I can get an adapter for these that actually has wires coming off it with a switch and a fuse, inline fuse already. So then my hope was to be able to just get that adapter, mount it on the creeper somewhere, slide the battery on, click, lock it on, and then use it. And if the lights get dim or start to go out, I just take this battery out and go put it on the charger, grab another one off the charger and put it on and keep going. Now, if I get a permanent battery and mount it in a box inside the creeper, that's, you know, it's gonna get low or go dead, or maybe it won't charge sometime and then I just can't use it because it's not gonna work. Probably not gonna happen very often, but if it does go dead, you know, I've got to go back to a headlamp. Also, I have no idea how long these lights are gonna last on this battery. You know, they need to last a couple hours in my mind, at least, to make it worthwhile. It needs to not discharge the battery real severely, real quickly, and make it hot. I need to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, so this DeWalt battery actually tells you battery positive there, battery negative there, both on the outside, okay? Oh yeah. Okay, so here's the formula. They're saying discharge time, which we have here, equals battery capacity times battery volts, divided by device watts. Okay, so we have our battery capacity. It's a 5 amp hour battery. Our battery voltage is 20 volts, and our device watts is 4.4 watts. So if we go to our calculator here, 5 times 20 is 100. That's 100. And then we take 100 and divide it by 4.4. That's 22 hours that this should last. Let's go look at it. So I haven't put a fuse in it just for this test. It's pretty dang bright. Hurts my eyes to look at it. This is actually a 6 amp hour battery, according to its label. I found in my experience, though, that it probably functions more like a DeWalt 5 amp hour battery. So that's why I'm calculating on 5 amp hours. And let's just check the temperature here. The concrete temperature is 80. The battery's 82. So it's not sucking the life out of it by any means. It's a degree or two higher. I guess I'm more concerned about the wires, but this is, when I strip this, strips at an 18 gauge. This is a 16 gauge here. So, okay, so let's just see if we can get the laser on that wire right there. That says 80 as well. How about that black part? 78. That red part says 79. I guess we should check the light housing as well. It says 114, and it's a fully charged battery with 3 bars. I don't know. Let's see how long it goes. Okay, it's been 10 hours. Still going. Still have 2 bars. 10 hours. I had no idea this thing would go this long. This is crazy. All right, let's just check temperatures here. The battery's pretty much ambient temperature. 76 there, 77 on the battery. The light, however, I think is getting kind of hot. 126. Okay, so that, you know, I'm putting it beside my head on the creeper. It's going to be 6 inches away on each side of my head, but I'm not going to be able to lay my head over on the side. Now, 126 degrees, you know, I can put my finger on and it's not burning a hole in me. I'm still holding it. It's getting too hot to hold now, so I'm going to take my finger off. So, you know, a few seconds there, my finger's not burned. It doesn't hurt, but it was getting too uncomfortable to hold my finger on it. So, you know, you just have to be careful. Okay, guys, so let's check it out. It's been 15 hours. 15, 1-5. And it's noticeably dimmer. You know, it's not as bright as it was. It doesn't hurt your eyes to look in it, which we kind of expect. There's still 1 bar on this battery, and this is the Whately battery from Amazon. And so we're going to call it quits. I'm just going to pull the plug on it, because this is plenty time. You know, 15 hours of runtime with 1 light. So if we cut that in half and say it runs 7.5 hours with 2 lights, that's a lot of creeper time. And I would not be a happy guy if I have to spend 7.5 hours on a creeper under a car at a time. Of course, you can always get out and change the battery, right? So, but it's not a good day for me when I have to spend that much time. Let's get this right on there. There we go. 121. Okay, let's see if the battery is any warmer. 82. 79. Okay, 80. The battery's not warm at all. And this may be running just a little bit cooler just since it was 122, just because the light's dimmer. I don't know. Okay, so here's the mounting bracket that I made, the mounting plate. And it's 14 gauge steel. And basically I just set the adapter, the battery adapter on here, and then marked my holes, and then I made sure I squared them up so they came out perfect. And then I just marked holes after I decided where I wanted to lay the bracket on the creeper. I marked holes because that creeper has a bunch of indentations on the bottom of it, so you got to kind of avoid those. Okay, so and then I just rounded these corners off here. These are the outside corners that are going to stick out, just so if I catch my leg or my arm on it, it's not going to cut me. And I left these on the inside sharp because they don't matter. Okay, so I haven't been videoing this because I really don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a good plan. So I'm just kind of trying stuff, but I'm going to tell you what's worked out so far. Basically, I drilled a hole right here and passed this long piece of wire straight down through here. And right here is where the wire showed up, actually, lucky for me. And so this 3/4 inch hole that I drilled for the switch, I was able to reach up there with just needle nose pliers and pull it out. Okay, so this is why I'm going to run my red wire and black wire up here so I can connect my light there. I'll have to run another wire from here over to here for the other light. Okay, so basically my wiring is going to be like this. The red wire is going to come off, it's going to loop around, go to the fuse, and then from the fuse it's going to go in this hole around here and then come out here. That's where it's going to attach to the switch, the red wire. That'll be the hot wire, the plus wire. Then the other side of the switch, the other wire that comes off the switch is going to go up here. That'll be my hot wire. It'll go to a red wire that'll go up through here, and that'll split here, and it'll go to the red wire to this light, the red wire to that light. Okay, the black wire off that light and the black wire at this light, of course, are going to go back down a black wire that'll come back down here and will terminate at the battery negative here, the black wire coming off the battery mount. All right, so we got the wire coming in here, it goes down here, comes out here. I've just Gorilla taped the wire, about half of the wire, and then starting right about here is the 2 cables, and I wrapped it around those. We'll just go ahead and pull it through here. Okay, so this next part was harder. We've got the 2 wires coming from down there, of course, wrapped around here. So don't let that confuse you just looking at this. I've got a regular wire running through here over to a hole right here. Now what I had to do was kind of put a little 90-degree bend, just a real short bend like that, okay, at the end of this wire. and then I fed it through a hole right here, and it came across here, and then the J-tip kind of showed up right there in that little hole, and I was able to grab it with some little tiny pliers. I'm just trying not to make big holes. I could make bigger holes and make this a lot easier. Okay, so then I had a piece of wire sticking out here and a piece of wire sticking out over here, that one. And then what I did was I took this end and I just wrapped it back up through, and this is going to be my hole for my light that my wire is going to go down through, and then that wire is going to come down through here and come to here. Okay, so here's the light. It's going to sit right here. This wire is going to run down through this hole, and I'm going to pull it through with the wire out this hole right here, over here. I just want to make sure, oh, see, it pulled right apart. Okay, so we bent a little J right there. I'm going to take this wire and roll it around it like that. Let me smash that closed just a little bit there. Now we'll tape it up. This is going to be tight getting this down through this hole. Okay, so I just drilled another hole next to the original one, so I have a little bit more working room here. So let's go ahead and try to pull this through. Getting close. All right. So this wire is just long enough to put that right there. Okay, now we're going to feed this wire through here, hopefully. Got a couple corners to go around there. And that'll go right there. Okay, just a note on wire size. This battery adapter comes with 12 gauge wire. It's pretty big. The wire I'm running up from the battery adapter up to the top toward the lights is 16 gauge. The wiring on the lights itself is actually 18 gauge. So this is real low watt and low amp draw. So 16 gauge is fine for the distance here. Okay, got my 3 black wires here. I got the wires splayed. I'm just going to take them and twist them all together. I want to bend this now so I can make sure I get keep it as narrow as possible so I can get my shrink wrap over it. And I'm going to try to pull these wires through now. Hopefully this will work. Okay, got 4 holes here. My plan is to run, I didn't know what to do with this because I really didn't make a box for this. I didn't want to try to stuff this inside here somewhere where I couldn't get to the fuse. I thought about, well, I'll nail it on the inside, on the underside, and then I was worried about that maybe hitting something or coming loose. I thought, well, maybe I'll lay it up in here, like put a hole through here, lay the fuse up in here. That way I could get to it, but then my tools will be hitting it. I don't know. So what I'm going to do now is just bolt this down like this and bolt the fuse right there and kind of catch the fuse block body, and then that way I can still pop the top off and get the fuse off. We'll run these wires into here and around. Go ahead and connect the switch and we'll move on. Okay, so just to review, these wires are the ones that go up to the lights. The reds to the reds and the blacks to the blacks. That's easy. Now we're going to get our switch. We're going to wire it into this right here. We'll stuff the wires back inside. Then we'll take these wires and wire them into the switch or directly to this. So our black wire, we'll just put a little bend in it like that. Hopefully we can make it. There it is. Go ahead and pull that one on through because I'm going to connect black to black right here. And then my hot wire, my positive, is going to come out here, go to the switch, and then go from here up the red wire to the lights. Let's slide all this inside of here. Okay, so basically we'll have the positive come through here, go through the fuse, go through here, wrap around, come to the switch. Out the switch, down this black wire on the switch, but it connects to the red wire that goes up here. That red wire splits and goes to that light and that light, and the black wires on that light and that light come back and come together into the single 16 gauge black wire that comes back to here, and that comes down to right here. We soldered that and stuffed that up inside and comes back to that part right there. Okay. So this is going to be a little bit wobbly because I don't have all 4 screws in the bottom, just a couple. And that's good. Slide this in here. Okay. And now let's turn it on. Oh yeah. Okay, so again, this kit came with these are actually rubber. I thought these were hard plastic. They're very soft and pliable. So there's 2 flat ones and 2 that have this concave surface. You can mount it to a roll bar or something like that. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and use them. I'm not sure that I need to. They probably are just made to kind of shock dampen the transfer of a shock or a impact to the light itself. And it gives it a little bit of elevation there. I think I'm going to go ahead and use it just because the length of my screws that I've chosen is just about right for that. So it'll kind of bite into the plastic there. As you can see, it's sticking up there. It'll bite into the plastic about 1/4 inch or so, but it's not going to go super far. I'm a little worried about wire chafing. This wire goes down and over here. This wire I'm not worried about at all because it goes down and over here. So this isn't going to chafe at all because I have the wire pulled over this way. But I do have all these wires wound up here. I guess they could end up in there. I'm not so worried about it here as I am over here though. So let's just look at this. So on the bottom here where I have my screws going in, those screws are sticking up inside this plastic. And I do have wires, you know, right here basically, and right here. So, you know, my original plan was to use a bunch of wire loom on these and stuff wire loom all inside. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think what I'm going to do is pull the switch out and then spray a bunch of great stuff like insulation foam, expanding insulation foam inside there. I'll try to get the one that doesn't expand much, spray it in there and spray it in there and just kind of fill that area and let it sit and let it harden, and that'll hold the wires in place. That way they won't chafe against the screws and short out. Okay, so I'm less worried about that up here. Though I think what we'll do is just go ahead and put some screws in. First we got to take this thing off right here, this little cap, just so it'll sit a little flatter. And maybe we don't have to take this cap off because this this rubber bumper's gonna kind of cover that up, isn't it? And it's gonna kind of conform to it. So I'll just kind of square it up here. Okay, that's pretty solid. So we'll go ahead and split this right here. We'll put this in place like this. Wrap it around the cord like that. Can't just throw my creeper on the ground anymore. Oh look, there's a U-joint we could work on. I can't wait. Oh wow.
Don't poke your eye out. I think it's the same.
Are you getting glare inside the lens? That's
not that I can tell.
Even when you turn your heads to the side, it's not reflecting inside.
Then I can, but it's honestly pretty. It's like right there, and it's about the same amount of distracting as it is with them on.
Okay, so not really a big difference.
No, I don't think.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna pretend that I'm done with my project, whatever that was, because I really didn't do anything. But now, here's an advantage of putting the battery on the side right here, is I like to use this handle and I like to stand my creeper up on the ends. So I can still do that without the lights hitting. It looks like they're close to hitting, but they don't hit. Okay, good. And we're done with our project, so I'm going to take the battery out. And voila. Okay, so one last thing I forgot to mention is my original plan was to mount this plate up here. So I mounted the plate up here with just a couple screws. I set the battery on it. Unfortunately, I mocked this up, and then I laid on it. My head hit the battery, like squarely hit the battery. The top of my head did. And then I found out I had to slide the battery like way up here in order for my head to keep from hitting. And I didn't like it sticking out that far. So, but it would work. So that's why I ended up putting it over here. I don't like it as much here because I think I'm going to bang it into tires and things like that. But I guess I could do the same thing here. So I appreciate you watching. If you think you're going to build one of these, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your ideas if you have ideas of how you do this differently or make it even better. So thank you for your comments. I appreciate those. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. That'll do.